You have plenty of space. You're going to use your band for this class. So first, I have this thing in my head. I have a lot of different ideas, of course. Like, as you guys know, I kind of fly off my creative brain and don't ever plan anything. So in my brain, I do have some like glute leg work today and a little bit of upper body stuff, but definitely you'll still get a full body workout. So we'll get started with your band. So go ahead and take the band around the bottom of your right foot. I personally like to crisscross the band. I don't know why. In my head, it just makes me feel like it's a little bit more secure. So let's go ahead and lay on down. And you can either start with your left leg bent and planted on the mat, or if your back feels good this morning, you can lengthen the leg all the way out long. Just kind of see how your body feels. So first, we're just going to start with a hamstring stretch. I'm just bending my arms and pulling that leg towards me, really reaching through the heel, pulling those toes back towards your nose, and just breathing into the back of your thigh. Maybe even feeling as though this right hip and thigh gets heavy into the mat. Kind of check in and letting go of any tension in the body. And then we're gonna hold the band in just the right hand and glide that right leg out wide to the side. And again, just kind of reach down long through this left hip and trying to stretch out through the inner thigh on the right side. So you can either feel like you're pulling that leg closer down towards the floor, or feeling a little different stretch by pulling that leg up towards your right ear. Breathing here. And then take a deep breath in. On your exhale, pull that leg to center. Grab the band with the left hand. Keep your right hip heavy as you take your right leg up and across towards that left shoulder. Still working on pulling those toes back towards your nose. Breathing into the outer side of that right leg. This is everybody's kind of pain point. I hate to say it, but it never gets any better. And then releasing that leg back to neutral. So make sure you have both ends of your band in your hands. Ground your elbows down into the mat. We're going to externally rotate that right leg in the hip socket. And we're going to make big circles all the way out, down and around. And really just trying to find that freedom of movement in the leg, in the hip. Just trying to release any tension. Feeling how the band really pulls that leg bone down into the mat. For 3, 2, last one at the top, we're gonna pause and we're gonna reverse it. Cross the midline, circle around. Cross the midline, circle around. You can inhale as you go down, exhale around. Inhale to cross, exhale to lift. We've got 4 more. Last one, and up. So I'm going to take that crisscross out of the band. And I'm just going to pull the band down by drawing my arms kind of like in an airplane wing angle into the mat. And so I've really got that tension pushing down into that thigh. And I'm going to lower that straight leg down. And I'm going to focus on my core to pull that leg back up. Inhale to lower. Keep driving those arm bones down into the mat. Exhale lifts you. Feel the back of the ribs stay heavy. Last 2. Last 1. Bring that right leg up to the sky. So we're still depressing those arms down into the mat. I'm going to bend my left leg in And as I reach my left leg to the sky, I'm going to lower the right leg down. So I'm going to bend the left leg in, lift the right, and scissor apart. So the left leg is kind of bicycling as the right leg lifts and lowers. And you're going through that band. Finding those ribs are heavy. So here we're feeling this in our core, warming up our center. Some of you guys did this in my class this week. It's a confusing one, but it feels good. Last round. Good. Bring that left foot up. Release the band with your arms. And we're going to plant that right foot down into the floor. Crisscross your band. Your right leg can be bent, or you can straighten that right leg all the way out long. And first we're just going to start with that hamstring stretch. So we're bending those arms and pulling that left leg towards us. Flex your left toes towards your nose and just breathe into the back of that leg. Trying to release any tension. And again, trying not to force the leg beyond its range of motion. I think sometimes we have this feeling like it should be going closer to our body, but that just kind of puts more tension into the body. And then holding the band in the left hand, opening that leg out wide to the side, stretching through the inner thigh. And again, feeling this right hip press heavy into the mat. Breathing here. Exhale as you pull that leg back to center. Hold the band with the right hand. This left hip stays heavy as I draw this left leg up and across towards my right shoulder. So you're really feeling this down the calf, the outer hip and thigh. Pull those toes back towards your nose and breathe. And then drawing back to center, and then grounding those elbows down into the mat, externally rotating that left leg in the hip, big circles, down, around, and up. Inhale down, exhale around. Last 3, 2, last one. Pause at the top. We're going to reverse it. Cross the midline, circle around. Inhale down, exhale around. Try really hard to keep those arms steady. The steadier the arms are, the more resistance you have drawing down into that thigh. For 3, 2, last one, bringing it all the way back up. So I'm going to uncross the band. Make sure I feel like the band is across the foot wide. Press those arms down into the mat. We're going to first keep the right leg grounded as the left leg lowers down. Exhale to lift the leg up. Inhale to lower the leg down. Exhale to lift it high. For 3, 2, pressing through the back of the arms and shoulders. Last one, lift the leg up high. We're going to bend the right leg in, extend the right leg to the sky as the left leg lowers. Bend and reach through, alternating the legs. Reach and reach. Find the ribs are heavy. Relax the hips and tail so that you're feeling your core kicking in. Pressing through the back of those arms and shoulders. For 3 and 2. Last one. Bring that right leg up to the sky. Release your arms. So let's place the band around both of those feet. And then again, we're pressing those arms down into the mat like little airplane wings, depressing down. This time, both of those legs are gonna lower to your point of control. Exhale as those legs lift to the sky. Inhale as your legs lower out and away from you. Exhale as those legs lift. Down. Exhale, up. Inhale, lower. Exhale to lift. 2 more. Keep those ribs heavy. Soften through those hip flexors. 1 more time. Lower. Exhale to lift. Let's bend those knees in. And you're kind of like, feet are a little above the knees. Make sure your knees are at hip level. So you don't want to be like too close in, because it's just like you're not working your core. You're all in your lower back. So push those knees right in line with those hips. Depress those arms down again. Both legs extend together on an inhale. Exhale, resist those knees back in. Inhale to reach out. Exhale to flex in. For 3, 2, last one. Pull those knees in. Keep those arms pressing down as you curl the head and chest forward. Same thing with the head lifted. Legs extend and bend. Inhale to reach. Exhale to flex. For 3, 2, and 1. Hug those knees in and just rock those hips from right to left side. Okay, so we're going to keep the band around the feet. Again, crisscrossing. It's just one of those security things for me. So you're nice and long line, holding onto the band. Legs are long onto the floor. We're going to take a deep breath in. On your exhale, start to curl the head and chest forward. So we're just lifted in those upper abs. Now I'm going to focus on these upper arm bones, and as I continue to curl forward, I'm pulling those arm bones out to the sides, taking a deep breath in at the top. And then as I start to lower, those arms slowly resist back in as I melt down into the mat. Inhaling at the bottom. Exhale, head and chest curls forward. And as I continue to lift, I'm going to pull those arms out wide to the side, lifting up nice and tall at the top. Exhale, melt down, lower back, middle back, upper back, shoulders, and head. We're going to do 3 more. Deep breath in. Exhale, curling head and chest forward. Arms pull wide as you continue to roll yourselves up to seated. Deep breath in. Exhale, curling back down, melting into the mat as you lower down. Inhaling at the bottom. Try hard to not let those shoulders creep up into your ears. Really resist through the upper arm bone so we don't have bad posture at the top. And then melting down. Lower back, middle back, upper back, head. We've got 1 more. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, curling head and chest forward. Pull the band out wide to the side as you lift up nice and tall. And then let's just release those arms forward. So we're going to stay seated tall. We want to focus on moving from the upper arm bone, not our hand. Your hand does not have as much strength and attachment to the core, right? So we want to focus from the upper arm bone. I'm going to have my palms facing down, and I'm just pulling those arms out to a T and releasing back in. Exhale to pull. Inhale to release. For 3. Feeling those upper back muscles working. 2. And 1. Release those arms. Let's curl that tail under, rolling about halfway back. I'm going to soften my knees because for me, in my body, that just helps to keep my glutes and my hips more relaxed. Same movement of those arms. Exhale, pull wide to the side and release. Pull and release. Exhale for 3. Keep those glutes relaxed, shoulders in pockets for 2. 1 last time. Pull and control as you release. Roll the spine back up to seated. So now I'm going to take both ends of my band. My left hand is closest to you, so I'm going to put my left hand into both ends of the band. The closer up towards your feet, the more resistance you're gonna have. The further down towards the end of the band, less resistance. So you get to choose where you want to be. Sitting nice and tall, I'm keeping my palm facing down. Stay square. As I row this elbow out to the side, I'm kind of level with my shoulder. And then releasing that arm. Exhale, pull. Inhale to release. For 3, feel the back of the shoulder working. Exhale for 2. One last time, row and release. We're gonna add on. We're gonna add rotation. So as you row, we're gonna twist open to the left. Control as you release. Start to row and rotate and release. For 3, pull. Exhale, rotate. For 2, feel like you're wringing out your belly as you rotate the spine and release. Now, I'm gonna lower my grip a little bit because we're gonna roll under the tail. So I'm keeping my knees bent still for my body. That just feels better. Relaxing the hips, relaxing the glutes. So we're gonna do that same series, staying square first. Elbow pulls wide, staying back in the C curve for 5. Exhale, pull for 4. Try not to add rotation in, just the arm for 3. Exhale, row for 2. And 1. Now we add that rotation. Pull and twist towards the left. Release. Exhale, rotate and release. 3 more. Exhale. For 2, twist. 1 last time, row and rotate. Draw back to center and curl it up to seated. Definitely feeling this arm. So now we're gonna go over to the other side. So first, sitting nice and tall in your spine. The right hand has both ends of the band. My palm is facing down. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, that elbow pulls out to the side and release. Exhale to pull and release. Stay nice and tall for 3. Elbows wide for 2. 1 last time, row and release. We're gonna add on. As you row, we're gonna rotate, open to the right and release. Exhale, pull and twist through the spine. So I'm kind of thinking of this left rib wrapping towards my right hip. We got 2 more. Last one. Back to center. So again, I'm gonna lighten my grip a little bit because I'm gonna curl under the tail. C curve back. Palm faces down. Just the elbows. Stay square as we row and release for 5. Exhale for 4. Pull that elbow wide to the side. Exhale, 2 more. Relax the glutes. Last one. Let's add that rotation. Row and twist to the right. Exhale, pull. Feeling that wringing out of the spine for 3. Row and rotate for 2. 1 last time. Pull and twist. Draw back to center and curl yourselves to seated. Let's take that band off of our feet. Do a little butterfly stretch. Soles of feet together. Knees wide and hinging forward. Just breathing into those hips, the lower back, and relaxing the shoulders, neck, and head. Okay, so now we're gonna take this band, and I'm very specific because I had an injury once. I was doing some band work during the pandemic actually, and it slipped off of my foot and hit me in the eye. And then the other day when I was telling this story, one of my clients said that her friend lost an eye that way. So I am just notorious about proper placement of the band because we don't need to lose any eyes. So draw the band across the top of your foot, so over the top of your foot, and then crisscross the band underneath your foot so your foot is fully wrapped in the band. That way we know it's not going to go anywhere. So we're gonna lay down on our left side. I'm gonna align myself with the back edge of my mat, and my legs are angled to the front corner of the mat, okay? So you again have the ability to control the amount of resistance here. So you holding your band up higher is going to like lessen, right? Giving that extra little pull is gonna create more resistance. So you can be up here, lifted. This is probably the more advanced version because you're having to stay nice and long and tall. But I will say that sometimes a lot of people get kind of tired in the shoulder and the neck here. So I always like to just be down and support my head because I'm really focusing mostly on my glutes and my core. And this to me just feels the best. So that top leg lifts up, and we're gonna sweep the leg forward towards your nose, and then you're gonna reach the leg back in line with the spine. Exhale, sweeping the leg forward towards your nose, and reaching back in line with the spine. For 3. Feel like you're opening up through the front of the hip and thigh as you sweep that leg back. Stretching the hamstring as you go forward, working that hamstring as you go back. Last 2. Last 1. Hold it all the way back in line with the spine. Feel like you're reaching the leg out of your waistline. So you're trying to lengthen out this entire right side. And you're going to lift a little higher and back to hip level. A little higher and back to hip level. Exhale, lift. Last 3, 2, 1. Draw the leg back to neutral at hip level. Now we're going to bend the knee, drawing it to tabletop. And then drive through the hip as you extend it back out long. Bend to tabletop and extend and reach. For 3, exhale, press. Flex at the hip, the knee. Drive through the hip, the knee. Really feeling like you're reaching that leg longer as you extend that leg. Squeezing up the thigh, reaching into those hips. 3 more. 2. Last 1. Hold it all the way out long. Draw this leg to meet the bottom leg, and you're going to externally rotate that leg in the hip so the toes and knee turn up to the sky. Relax your shoulders. The leg lifts up and down. Exhale, lift and lower. Three more. 2 more. Last 1. Lower the leg all the way down. Bring that leg back to neutral. We're going to do really, really big circles. So we're going to sweep that leg forward, up, back, and around for 5. Up and circle for 4. Reach for 3. Exhale for 2. One last time. All the way back, of course. We're going to reverse that. Draw it forward, back, and around. Up, back, and around. For 3, 2, and 1. Reach that leg in line with the bottom leg. We've got 1 more. Tiny little circles for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Reverse it back. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Whew. Definitely feel the butt on that last one. Let's bend the leg in, remove your band. Plant your foot in front of your bottom leg. I like to bend my bottom leg in just so that my foot stays more stable. And then I just push this knee away from me, feeling that stretch in that booty. So, little side note, because this hip has already been worked, he's kind of tired, right? So when we go to this other side, your left leg may get tired a little quicker because the right leg's like, I don't want to stabilize you. I just did all the work. You do all the work. So remember, we have that safety measure for the foot and how our band is set up. So we're going to go directly over the top of the foot and then crisscross the band underneath your foot. So your foot is wrapped up like a nice little package. So we're going to flip sides. So you're lining yourself up with the back edge of the mat, legs angled towards the front corner of the mat, holding your band. And we're getting ready with those front and back kicks. Lift the leg up, sweep the leg forward, and reach the leg back. Front and back. Stretch the hamstring as you go forward, working the hamstring as you go back. And then the hardest part about side lying series is just trying not to move anything else but your leg. So you're thinking of your leg like a separate entity, like a pendulum swinging from the hip socket. 2 more. Last one, hold that leg back in line with the spine. Remember to lengthen that waistline out a little bit more as we lift the leg a little higher and lower. A little higher and lower. Exhale, lift. Leading with the blade of the foot. Try to keep your toes pointing forward, not up to the sky. This is going to find the outer hip a little bit more. For 3, 2, 1. Hold the leg at hip level. Now we bend the leg forward to tabletop and drive the hip back. Bend it in and drive it back. For 3, driving through the hip, not the foot. Exhaling to reach long. We've got 3 more. For 2. Last one, hold that leg all the way out long. Bring the leg to meet the bottom one, externally rotating that leg in the hip socket. Relax your shoulders, lift that leg high to the sky and back down for 10. Up. The hard part is trying not to let those hips fall behind you, keeping the hips stacked like you're viced between 2 panes of glass. For 3, exhale 2, and 1. Draw the leg back down. Turn the leg back to neutral. We're going to make big circles. So the leg's going to sweep forward, up, back, and around. Forward, up, back, and around. 3 more. Still working on staying stable. For 2. And 1, let's reverse that direction. Bring it forward and back. Up, forward, and back. For 3, 2, and 1. Reach that leg long with the bottom leg. Stretch it out, little circles. For 8, 7, 3, 2, 1, reverse it back. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Bend that leg in. Remove the strap from your foot. Bending your bottom leg in. Oh, planting that foot in front of your thigh. Pushing your knee away from you. Good. So now we're going to spin onto our bellies. I'm going to angle my mat a little bit further away from the wall, just so I don't hit the wall. So we have our band. I'm going to hold one end of the band with my left hand. And then I'm working my right arm. So again, like the closer your grip, the more resistance you have, the further down here, less resistance that you have, right? So first I'm just gonna start with my arms, basically at like shoulder distance. So my legs are long, kind of remove that like flesh from your thighs at your hip crease and keep your legs narrow. I see people like this a lot, and that just like dumps your lower back into the mat and dumps your belly into the mat. It's a lot harder to like keep your abdominals in. So narrow into your hip distance, your body width. So laying all the way down, arms are long over your head. We're gonna lift those arms up. Keep your head just hovering from the mat. Breathe into those back muscles and then lower those arms down. Deep breath in. Exhale, float those arms up. Breathing into those upper back muscles and lower it down. For me, my left side is really grumpy, which in my mind makes me feel like it's a little weaker on this left side. It's like, ouch, kind of crampy feeling. But we're really trying to strengthen those back postural muscles. Let's do this 3 more times. Keep the ribs heavy. I'm just hovering my face off the mat, looking down at my mat, keeping the neck nice and long. 1 more time. Float those arms up and lower those arms down. Good. So now I'm going to ground this left hand into the mat and like really just hold it as a stability point, okay? And I'm going to be working my right arm. So I'm just going to hover my gaze, my head, and I'm going to float this right arm up off of the mat. So I'm really depressing down into this left arm. And I'm going to row again. So I'm going to pull my right elbow back into my rib, pulling down into my side body, and then extend that arm overhead. Keep that arm lifted as we pull the elbow back into the body and extend overhead. Remember, you can control how much resistance you have by keeping a shorter grip or a longer grip. We've got 2, pull, and reach. 1 last time, bend the arm back and extend the arm overhead, lower that arm down. So now we're gonna keep the arm straight and we're gonna sweep it out wide to the side. So left arm stays grounded down, float that right arm up, and we're gonna sweep that right arm out to a T and back up over your head. Open the arm out to the side and overhead. Exhale, pull for 3 and lengthen. Exhale, pull for 2 and reach. 1 last time, pull that arm out wide to the side, bring it back overhead, lower the arm down. So now I'm gonna add that together. So I'm gonna float that arm up. I'm gonna bend my elbow back into my side, extend the arm overhead, straight arm pulls wide to the side, back overhead. Bend the elbow, extend overhead, pull straight arm wide, back overhead for 3 to bend, and reach, straight arm wide, and reach. 2 more, bend, and straighten, straight arm wide, overhead, last round, bend, and reach, pull wide, and rest it down. Good job. So I'm just gonna switch the grip. So I've got the short end on my right hand, and the left arm is gonna be doing the work. So again, hovering that head, keep my right arm grounded. First, I'm just lifting that left arm up, connecting with the back of the ribs, shoulders, upper mid-back. And then I'm gonna pull that elbow back into my side and extend that arm overhead. Exhale, pull. Inhale to lengthen. Find your breath. And reach. We've got 2 more. Pull. And reach. 1 more. Bend. And extend. Lower it down. Now we're going to take that arm out wide to the side. So you're going to float that arm up. Stay lifted. Pull that arm out to the side, back overhead. Exhale, reach wide, and up. For 3. Pulling more with that pinky side of the hand. For 2. And 1. Bring that arm back up overhead. Lower the arm down. Now we're going to add those 2 moves together. So keep that right arm stable. Lift the left arm. We're going to bend the elbow back into the side. Extend the arm back out long. Pull that arm out wide to the side. Back overhead. Bend the elbow. Extend. Straight arm pull. And release. Exhale, bend. And reach. Straight arm pull. And release. 2 more. Bend. And reach. Exhale, pull. And release. Last round. Bend. And extend. Pull. And release. Good job. So, we're going to take those 2 moves and we're going to integrate them with both the arms working at the same time. So, of course, we got to make sure that our band clears the head. So the hardest part with this is keeping those arms lifted high enough that you don't whack your head with the band. So, keep your head hovering, shoulders back and down into their pockets. Take a deep breath in, and we're going to float those arms up. Then we're going to pull those elbows back into our sides. So the band comes to the back of those shoulders and neck. And extend those arms long overhead. Exhale, bend and pull. Inhale to reach for 3. And extend. Exhale, pull. 2. And straighten. 1 more time. Bend. Reach overhead. Stretch. And lower those arms down. And then the last one is those T arms. So float those arms up. And exhale, pull those arms out wide to a T. Control and resist back overhead. Lead with the pinky as you go out wide. And the thumb as you resist it overhead. Exhale, pull for 3. Exhale, pull for 2. Exhale, pull. Last one. And release. Let's press ourselves up. Sit the hips back into a child's pose. Just breathing into that shoulders, upper mid back, into the lower back. Just letting everything melt into the mat. And then we'll take those arms over to the right side, breathing into that left side body, feeling like your left arm is reaching a little bit longer. Sitting that left hip heavier into the mat. Breathing down this left side body. Taking those arms over to the left side. Stretching that right arm a little bit longer. Right hip is a little bit heavier. Coming back to center, we're going to do one more stretch for each side. We're going to take our right arm and we're going to thread the right arm underneath us. And then just drop our chest and head down into that right arm. So you should feel that across the back of the shoulder that we were just working. It kind of feels like we're done, but I do have one more thing that we're going to do. Just wanted to stretch out your shoulders after all that work. Let's bring that right arm back out long. Let's thread that left arm underneath us. Stay square as you just drop your chest and head down into the left arm. Breathing across that left shoulder. And release. Bringing yourselves up. So, the one last thing that I want to do is finishing up with a little plank series. I know, our favorites. I'm going to do this on my forearms. You can also do this on your wrists, but I know a lot of my clients, their wrists bother them, being on their hands too much. So going down to the forearm, one, saves the wrist, but it also makes you have to work your core just a little bit more because you're a lot lower to the ground. So you can choose whichever one you want. You can also choose to be on your knees, which would be a modified version as well. So coming on down. So first is just a basic forearm plank. I don't like it when we grab our hands together because our front shoulder is already very, very dominant, and this like over engages the front shoulder by having our hands clasped together. So I really work hard on trying to keep my arms parallel to the shoulders. You can have palms down, fists down, like whatever feels good here, but this is gonna connect so much more into your ribs and into those upper abs. So your modified version would be here with your knees down on your forearms. Your more advanced version would be lifting those knees up and just holding here. Our magic number so far has been 5. So we're gonna do 5 deep breaths. So focusing here on inhaling and exhaling. Inhaling and exhaling. Feel your heart and your gaze is forward towards the end of the mat. One more deep breath. And lower down. All right, we got one more variation. I personally, in my body, like to be in Pilates V because it helps to really ignite the back chain of my legs a little bit more, and I don't dump negatively into my knee joint because when your knee may be hyperextensive, you can hold a lot of tension in your knee as we go into this next move. So your other alternative from parallel feet would be turning out into Pilates V. That's just my suggestion. Do what works best for you. So on your knees, it would just be lifting one leg and lifting the other. This would be your modified version of what we're going to be doing, okay? Your full version, lifting up, finding that plank position, and floating one leg up, lower it down, float the other leg up, lower. Keep the gaze and the heart forward. Feel those shoulders draw back and down into their pockets. We've got 3. We're lifting from the glute, the hamstring, the back chain of the body for 2. Last set each side. And rest it down. Let's come to hands and knees, quadruped position, and do a few cat and cows. Drop the head, the tail, rounding the spine. Lift the heart, the tail, opening up. Exhale, curling under, rounding the spine. Inhale, lift and stretch. One more time. And then we are all through. Thanks for joining me for my first Instagram Live class. I so appreciate you guys being here.